Gents, I hate to break it to you, but just because you are liked does not mean that you are respected. And if that alone does not annoy the crap out of you, what if I told you that it is all your fault? Just think about it logically for a second. Are you always finding yourself trying to be the funniest guy in the room, or seem to be the guy who can drink the most beers, or you always have to have your opinion heard? And unfortunately, that's a sign of low self confidence. And I used to be the exact same. I always needed to be praised by others. I always needed to have my opinions validated. But I want to share with you today the tools that I've implemented over the last couple months to absolutely bulletproof my mindset, and which has not only allowed me to absolutely boost my self confidence, but it's also to allow me to do things that previously would have been anxiety inducing to me, things that would just make me cringe. Absolutely. Things such as being able to post online, post content online, put myself out there, as well as filming myself in an airport. Literally one of the most anxiety inducing activities known to man. And want to share with you today how I was able to do that. The first thing, lads, is you want to know why you're actually not getting the respect you desire. And the first thing it comes down to is people pleasing. You are too worried about what other people think about you. You are too scared to get out from underneath your comfort zone and actually start doing things that you want to do. Or you're too worried about not reaching your own standards. But for the most part, your standards aren't even high enough anyway, so I don't even know what you're worried about. You also need to be sure that you are accountable. Not having any accountability and just wandering through life without any, critical analysis on what you're actually doing, or actually thinking back on what you've done and not holding yourself accountable to your actions is another sign of low self-respect, lads. Next thing would be a lack of an action and purpose. Like if you're wandering through the day and you don't know what you're doing, even at your job, if you're getting bored multiple times per day and you're fulfilling that need by either reaching for your phone, checking for notifications, scrolling through TikTok, doom scrolling, and not actually looking to better yourself in your career, better your physique, better your mindset, then you're just drifting through life with no purpose whatsoever. And probably the worst one of all is actually just trying to fake confidence, fake discipline, and fake respect, because there comes a point where people are going to be able to sniff it out. There comes a point where you can only lie to yourself, lie to others so much that you haven't done the work to get the results that you desire. So what you need to do is you need to first start off by building a foundation of discipline. And that can look different. That can look very different for a lot of variety of people. But for me, it comes down to building a list of non-negotiables. Things that you do every single day that do not change no matter how you feel, where you are, or what you are doing. Set yourself a wake up time. It doesn't matter what it is, preferably earlier than what you are waking up now. Try and wake up an hour earlier than what you are now. So if you're waking up at 8 a.m., try and wake up at 7. You're waking up at 7, try and wake up at 6, and so on, and just try and slowly decrease that. Having a set wake up time every single day does not only help you from a mental and discipline point of view, but it also helps with your circadian rhythm. And that's what's going to allow you to get through the day without absolutely dreading when your next cup of coffee is going to be. Just hanging on for it, hitting your macros. If you don't know what's going to your body, how are you going to be able to reach your fitness goals? You cannot track what you don't measure. So you need to be hitting your macros every single day, knowing what proteins, carbs, and fats are going into your body. The amount of people who I will ask, they're like, how are your fitness goals going, bro? And like, yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, so you know what proteins you're hitting, what your macros are, your carbs, your fats. It's like, oh, no, not really. I'm having some meat and some mince each day and some chicken, bro. If you don't know your macros are done, at least for the first couple months. So at least you can track and see whether you're at maintenance or whether you're in a deficit or whether you're in a surplus. You're never going to know. The third thing, working out like an absolute savage. I still go into the gym now and I pride myself on literally making sure people look over at me and go, is that bloke all right? Like that's how you need to be training. You need to be taking your sets to at least minimum 3 reps in reserve, or at least max sometimes. Doesn't need to be until failure every single time. But if you don't go till failure at least a couple times, how are you even going to know if you're pushing hard enough? How are you even going to know what failure even looks like? And we'll touch on that a little bit more. Moving with definiteness. That is probably the most crucial aspect of discipline. Everything you do needs to have a purpose. Every action you take needs to be done with definiteness in mind. Even if it might not be the right decision that you take in maybe a month's time, a week's time, etc. At least make a decision and make it with purpose and stick at it. You will be respected so much more by just making a decision instead of stuffing around and not making any action whatsoever. And then the other thing is learning something new. Most of us get out of school or get out of university and think that we know everything and that we don't need to learn anything anymore. And that could not be further from the truth. You need to be learning every single day. You need to become an expert in something. Find a passion, a hobby, and just learn something every single day that's going to help you benefit your life. Because the more knowledge you know, the more you can share that with people, the more you can grow your own knowledge, and you helps teach you. By teaching others, it helps teach yourself as well. Next, it's validation. This was the absolute killer for me. Seeking validation from others and making sure I felt okay was what held me back for ages. And first, you have to break down why we actually do it in the first place. And you've got to go back to the caveman days. You've got to go back to right back at the beginning and what our biological makeup as humans actually is. And it's about community, wanting to feel a part of something, wanting to not be left out, wanting to not be an outsider. So we seek validation because we desire that community aspect of feeling a part of something. And it's normally always throughout history that whoever was banished or whoever was outcast from the group would not survive because they would have to fend for themselves and they would be on their own. That has changed in today's day and age. Staying in the norm and doing what everyone else is doing is only going to produce you the exact same results as everyone else. When everyone is zigging, you need to zag. And why you must avoid it. It's simply, this is how the devil, however you want to look at it, keeps you trapped. The devil will prey on your ego as a man, because as a man, we all like our ego stroked. That's just how it is. He will prey on your ego by filling you with affirmations, negative affirmations, vanity, giving you flattery, people flattering you about how good of a job you're doing, making you feel like you're doing a really, really good job and making progress when you know yourself that you aren't. That will keep you trapped. Comfort zones, the comfort and ego being stroked will keep a man trapped forever. And you need to actually figure out what's actually triggering that. This is the hard part. You need to actually look inside yourself and think, why do I do these things? Why do I seek that external validation? Is it the fear of being judged? Is it the fear of criticism? Is it the fear of poverty? Is it the fear of illness? Whatever it may be, you need to take a hard look inside yourself and figure out what is actually the cause of you seeking that validation. Once you do that, you're already halfway there. And this is where things get interesting now, because now that you've actually realized why you are seeking that external validation and why you aren't getting that respect you deserve, you can now start to fix it. The first step is becoming actually waking up and becoming aware of what's actually going on around you. Then you can begin to fix it. And I want to explain to you the difference between real and fake confidence and what it means to actually have real confidence. Real confidence comes from self-mastery. Self-mastery of the body, self-mastery of the mind, learning something every single day and bettering yourself, as I said before, with definiteness of purpose. Doing things that make you uncomfortable. Now, there's actually a small part in the brain called the mid-cingulate cortex, anterior mid-cingulate cortex. And that part of the brain actually gets bigger every time we do something we don't want to do. Now, the key there is actually doing something that you do not want to do and is difficult. Doesn't matter if it's difficult, it might be hard, but it's actually the fact that you do not want to do it. That is what makes that part of your brain actually grow larger. And that part of your brain has been linked to decreases in Alzheimer's, decreases in heart disease, colon cancer. It's so powerful, and funny enough, it seems to be smaller in people who have diabetes, who suffer from alcoholism. It's amazing what this little part in the back of your brain actually does and what it controls. And the third thing is through life experience. You got to create that aura about you. No one's going to respect you if you don't stand for something, or if you haven't got interesting stories to tell or places that you've been. So my advice to anyone is get out there and make experiences, make mistakes, because that way you're going to have stories to tell. You're going to be an interesting person. If you're not interesting, if you don't stand for something, if you don't have an opinion on anything, then you're just going to get walked over your entire life, and you're just going to be accepted as one of the boys. And finally, it's building confidence through competence. When you are trying to improve, it is going to be difficult, but you signed up for this. You signed up for the highest highs and to experience the lowest lows. But what happens to most people is when they experience that discomfort, when they first reach that first wall and things get a little bit hard, they go, oh, no, I'm good. And they back off. That is your green flag. That is how you know you are doing the right thing. When you receive pushback from people, when people start saying negative things about you, when you start questioning your own thoughts, that's when you know you're doing the right thing. That is when you know you are on the path to achieving exceptional things, because you are doing things that are uncomfortable. And the saying is, do not go where there is already a path, go where there is no path, and leave a trail for others. And what I've done also, I've literally made this as easy for you guys as possible. I've linked below my self-mastery guide to improve your self-confidence, boosting your testosterone, and also getting yourself fit in the gym. Literally, I've made it that easy for you not to fail. I've literally included all that. Click the link below and I'll send it over to you. It literally tracks out for you your macros, workout plans, books to read to improve your mindset, daily non-negotiables that you need to have in order to get to that life that you want to have. Nothing comes without sacrifice. So take that as you will and go and do something about it.